Hey friends, it is Samara, and I'm here with another design team layout featuring the August 2025 Flavors of the Month Echo Park Summer Break. And oh my gosh, this kit is so cute. I absolutely love it. So let me go ahead and show you what's in the flavors. First, we get this adorable paper with these roller skates, and then check out the back. Oh my gosh, I love those little dots. And then we have this super fun paper. And the reverse side, we have these wonderful lightning bolts. And then finally, we have these 3x4 cards. And then the flip side of that is this amazing stripe pattern. We also get 2 sheets of white cardstock. My favorite. I love white cardstock. And then we also get 2 sheets of stickers. These are the ones that I got. And also a couple of brads. I got 3 of these really cool gemstone brads, more like sticker brads. Then we get, in the embellishment kit, we get some enamel dots. I love those enamel dots. Again, those are in the embellishment kit. And then finally, these 2 papers are from the paper kit, the pattern paper kit. So when I saw this, I knew instantly what photos I was going to use. My husband and I just recently went on a cruise, and one of our stops was Puerto Vallarta. And the colors in this kit match perfectly to the big Puerto Vallarta sign at the Malecon or the boardwalk. So I went ahead and decided to make these photos 3x3, and then I trimmed them out so that they almost looked like Polaroid photos. And again, I said last month that I absolutely love using smaller photos or sometimes even single photos to tell my story. So you did see at the beginning, I did sort of a sketch, and I'm just going to begin building my layout. So first we're going to trim off this paper to make it 12x12. Then I am going to use some of this stripe paper, but I do want to be very careful in how I cut this because there are some embellishments on the other side that I do want to cut out. So I cut about 2 inches for the larger stripe paper and then about a 1/2 inch for the smaller one. And this is my plan. So by putting the stripe at both the top and the bottom, I help to balance out the page just a little bit. I'm going to use this lightning bolt paper to create a banner. And my banner measures 5 by, I would say about maybe 10 inches. You'll see I trim this. This is how I do my banners, is I just line it up towards the middle and then just pull down in one section. I think that that was about 2 inches up, maybe a one and a half. I just eyeball it and cut across. You definitely could use a ruler and a trimmer. So I begin to lay that down. I realize I do need to make it a little bit shorter. Now we're going to go ahead and take our blue polka dot paper. It's not really a true polka dot. And I'm going to cut that to about 6 inches. And then I'm just going to position my pictures in place just to get an estimate of how long I want that paper. And then I decide, okay, you know what? We're going to be inking. We're going to do a lot of inking. So I pulled out a bunch of distress oxides that I'm going to be using on the page. This one is black soot, but honestly, any black ink would work. So part of the reason why I am sponging or texturing each of these strips is when I think about PuertoVallarta, like I think about the colors of Mexico, and they're very, very vibrant. However, there is a layer, I don't want to say grime because that's not what I mean. It's like um, historic, well used, loved. And so I wanted to convey that. And by sponging on or brushing on some ink onto the edges of this paper, I give that sort of worn look without it looking too grimy. One of the things I love about visiting Mexico, and my husband visits sometimes twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year, are the vibrant colors. You don't see gray in Mexico. You see these just beautiful reds and oranges and greens and blues. And it is absolutely stunning. Everywhere you look, there's just color, tons of color. One of the things I loved about this collection this month is that even though this is very much a summer collection with things like camping and roller skating and road trips and hopscotch and just well skateboarding. I'm looking at some of the paper here. I was not going to use it in that respect. I just wanted to use these patterns. And even this lightning bolt pattern doesn't necessarily read as a lightning bolt pattern once I put it down on the page. It just looks like a tone on tone solid red pattern. So now I have everything inked. We'll go ahead and begin putting things down into position. So that banner will definitely go under the stripes. I don't always use sketches, but I find that when you do, your layout goes together so quickly. So just curious, how many of you out there have the hot pink ATG gun? Some friends and I were talking a couple weekends ago about that, and they are really hard to find. So if you have one, make sure you hold on to it. I did decide I had to trim that down just a little bit. It was just a little bit too big, maybe like a ½ inch too big. So let's go ahead and put that down. And then now we have the base of the layout done. So now it's just really adding the fun stuff, the embellishments, the photos, the embellishments. So the picture of the statues off to the right, it is, oh my gosh, now I can't remember what it is. They are like 2 mermaids, like a male merman and then a female mermaid. And there's just these incredible statues in Mexico that I don't know what else to say. They're incredible. And the boardwalk in PuertoVallarta is lined with all of these statues, and they're very tall, very beautiful, and they overlook the ocean. I went ahead and cut out a little tag using a die cut from my stash. And even though this tag has roller skates, which is absolutely what we were not doing there, is roller skating, again, the colors work. And so even though the motif is really not exactly what we were doing, It doesn't necessarily read that way on the page. No one's going like, "Oh my gosh, you have roller skates there," or "You weren't even roller skating." So it works. The colors all work together. They pull from the colors in the photos, and it just works. From my stash, I pull out some twine, and this is this gorgeous marigold twine. I picked up, it must have been about like 10 to 15 different colors. I picked those twines up like maybe 15 years ago, and they're still going strong. I recently tried to find some of those same colors again, and unfortunately I cannot. So using the sticker sheets that came in my kit, I find some labels. So I put that little yellow label down, and then I'm going to go ahead and add, pull out some different ones and play around with them. I have this roller skate here, which again, even though we weren't roller skating, it works. This was a boardwalk. This was by the beach. So I'm just adding some baby powder to the back so that the sticker is no longer sticky. I will be adding some foam behind it to pop it up. And I'll do the same with this little star here. I love that little star. It has that same stripe pattern as the paper, so it definitely works on this page. I pull out this cute little yellow tag that says sunshine, and I just am going to use the top of that one. I guess it's not really a tag, it's a circle. So just kind of carefully pulling out some different stickers, playing around with how I'd like to use them or not use them. And then I decide that I love this little Polaroid camera, and it goes perfect with my photos because I cut them into a Polaroid shape. So we'll just trim that out. I love to take embellishments from my paper. It really extends the life of the paper. I apologize, I'm stumbling on my words. I've been trying to make this video all weekend. So we'll bring the bottom part of that circle sticker towards the bottom, just really for a little bit of color there. Now we're going to add some foam. To that little Polaroid. We'll position that in place there. The same with our roller skates. It was so funny. When this kit arrived, I knew exactly who had designed it, and I texted my friend, and I'm like, "You designed this kit, right?" And she says, "Absolutely. How did you know?" It was very funny. I told her she must have designed it for my vacation. She indeed did not. But don't be afraid to look at your kits in other ways so that you can extend the life of them. So just taking some more of those stickers and dropping them in. And then right now I'm just adding some of the stars from the sticker sheet. Just checking it out and seeing if there's any more. Now I'm going to use some of the enamel dots that came from the embellishment kit, and I love to put my my enamel dots in groups of 3. So I have 3 off to the left. I know you can't really see the blue, but it's there, trust me. And then I'm going to add 3 up towards the top. So 3 to the left, 3 to the right, and then 3 up top. I like to push those down pretty hard to make sure that they're stuck. I tried to see if I had room for those gemstones, but I don't think that they fit on this particular layout. So now I am going to grab some more Distress Oxides. This one is Evergreen Bough, which is perfect for that bluish green paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and wet that down. Taking a very thin brush. First, I do have to mat those photos though. I shouldn't say mat, mask. And now I'm just going to sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle some of that blue down. What I'm using for my palette there is an old Vicky Bouton Foundations paper. The top of it is an acetate, so I just cut that off and I use it as a palette. And then the reddish color that I'm going to be using is Fried Brick. How many of you love to splatter on your pages? It's so much fun. It's such an inexpensive way to really dazzle up your page. And then this orange color we have is Spiced Marmalade. So just adding that down, sprinkling that all over the paper. Now I'm going to go ahead and lift up my mask. Fun little fact, in my studio I keep washcloths or old shop towels, and I use them to clean up all of my messes. And then I have a little dirty bin in my office here, and then I just I wash them, and it doesn't bother me if they're stained. So I did decide to add some more ink to the page. Again, this is the Spiced Marmalade. That edge there was just too stark. And then I'm going to lift that up just a tiny bit with a little bit of foam tape. Again, just adds a little bit of dimension, a little bit of shadow there, makes it stand out from the background. Adding my date to the label. That little date stamper I got like 15 years ago, and it is like the best investment ever. So now I'm doing my little twine trick where I untwist the twine and then use my tweezers to separate all the strands. Lately, this just seems to be my thing. Taking a black pen, I am just adding a border to each of these papers. When I think about Mexico, I think about all of the artisans. There's just such incredible art. And I think that adding this little hand-drawn line just adds some detail. And now from my stash, I have my Florence alphabets, and I'm going to be using a whole variety of colors to match my layout. So I have this, this red color. The red is called Macintosh. I'll be using some of the orange, which is called orange. The yellow is called bell pepper. The green is guacamole. Isn't that perfect? And then this greenish blue is Gulf. The blue is blueberry. and then the brown is pony. So just spelling out the words Puerto Vallarta. 4 years of Spanish. That's all I have for you. So I'm starting to run out of some letters. So I do have to doctor an A together. So you'll see that in just a second. I keep staring, hoping that I can manifest an A, but unfortunately, there are no more A's. So I take that letter V, I put it upside down, and then I take one of the exclamation points, cut it in half, and then make myself my own A there. So the next thing I'm going to do is sketch out the word the malecon, which translates to the boardwalk. So I'll add that to the bottom. And as I finish that up, again, I will go ahead and add some more details to that word just by thickening the downward strokes so that it looks a little bit like calligraphy. And then that will be about it. So thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see how this inspires you.